Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Scott's podcast series. I am delighted to be here in Las Vegas with the president of the Vegas Golden Knights, Kerry Bubolz. Kerry, it is great to see you, my friend.
Scott, it's been a while, but we're glad to be here. Welcome to Vegas.
It has been a minute. I love Vegas. It's great to be here in the offices with you. It's great to see you again. Let's talk about the Golden Knights and talk about the inception of starting up a franchise, what you did in Cleveland with the Cavaliers, the Monsters, the Charge was amazing through your tenure there. I witnessed it firsthand. How did this all come about with the Golden Knights, and how has this worked out in Vegas and overachieved expectations, which it obviously has over the last 5 years or so?
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. We're real fortunate to have a lot of great success both on the court and off the court in Cleveland. That last year, 2016, if you remember, we won the NBA championship.
Yep.
And then actually 9 days earlier, our AHL team, the Monsters, won the American Hockey League.
What a perfect storm.
It was a fun week, fun 2 weeks. But, we're really fortunate. Along the way, had been keeping an eye on what was happening here in Las Vegas with expansion. It was the 31st team. June of that same year, Bill Foley was named not only the owner, but it was approved by the National Hockey League that it was going to happen. His primary focus was to get the hockey side of things in order. He hired George McPhee, who's our president of hockey operations, and really led everything and leads everything we do from the hockey side of our business. And then shortly thereafter, he started to think about, well, what would the business organization look like? And I was fortunate to be a part of a process. Ultimately was given the opportunity and started on the ground in October of 16, and we've been running ever since. That first year just getting ready, so we didn't start playing hockey till October of 17. That first year was really focused on getting the business organization pulled together, really focusing on our big rocks in terms of our priorities of the business. When you're starting a franchise like that, it's really easy to you hire a lot of talented people, you hear a lot of different ideas, and if I had to step back and say, well, what am I most proud of? It really was keeping everybody locked in that we've got certain priorities of the business to make this thing work. We have to build that foundation. And so that idea may be fantastic, but that's more appropriate for second year, third year as we're continuing to grow and evolve.
Right.
And so we really focused in. We wanted to make sure our season ticket base was firm, solid, did a terrific job with that piece. We wanted to make sure our sponsorships as we went to market, what did our portfolio look like? Who were our media rights partners? And so we really spent a lot of time making sure that that piece was in place. We're in the entertainment capital of the world. This is Las Vegas. And we knew that we had to meet or exceed the expectation of what was already happening in this market in terms of entertainment. Yes, this is hockey, but we're still in the sports and entertainment business. And so we put a lot of time and effort and energy into what would this show look like? What would our brand look like? How would we bring it to life in a different way that was very unique to Las Vegas? And I believe we were able to accomplish that. And then other areas like youth hockey, putting the foundation in place with facilities like what we have here at City National Arena, putting a retail strategy in place, which has been amazing.
Yeah.
And you're going to see tomorrow at the game just the amount of people wearing the brand. It's not just one shirt or one hat or one sweater. It might be multiple items, and so retail has been just off the charts. And then we got through, and we had a great first year. We laid a great foundation. Obviously, we had a lot of success on the ice.
Yep.
But it also translated from a business perspective, and we've been able to really grow it and build on it from there. But there were a lot of people early on that, first of all, were very critical of the NHL. Why go to another southern market? They thought that was kind of a really bad idea. There weren't a lot of people early on that liked even our name selection. They didn't like our logo selection. And then by the time we got to the expansion draft in June of 2016 or 2017, they thought this may be the worst NHL team that's ever been pulled together. And so I kind of laugh about it now because by the time we got to midway through that first season, everybody's like, okay, this team's for real.
Yeah.
And of course we made the playoffs, and then we had a run and got all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals and won the first game actually against Washington. But we just couldn't quite finish off. But it still was a magical year, and we've been building ever since. So we're excited about what we've been able to do to add to that foundation that we laid that first year.
Awesome. And obviously one of the hottest brands in the NHL. When you go to Vegas, you think of the Golden Knights. And let's talk about moving the culture. Obviously, the team president, what you built in Cleveland. It was my first gig in sports, working for the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Monsters at the time, way back in, 2007. The culture was amazing in Cleveland. How have you embedded it here in Las Vegas? And it seems like we talked about before the interview, you have the AHL, the Silver Knights, you have the Indoor Football League actually kicking off here this weekend.
Tonight, yeah.
And just talk about overall culture and why it's so important to go to work, have a good time, and emphasize great culture, and obviously a sales culture, which is my background and your background, also to be successful as an organization.
Yeah, no, and obviously that's an important piece. And if if I had to grab any individual in our organization and say, like, what's the one thing you hear most often that comes out of my mouth about our organization, I would hope they would say that we as a business have to drive the revenues necessary to support this business, and everybody plays a role in that. And so it's not just ticket sales, it's not just what we do from a sponsorship end. Everybody plays a role, and if we don't sell a ticket, we don't have a business, right?
For sure.
And so there's so much emphasis and focus around that, and everybody's accountable to it. And like I said, I'm really proud that we've been able to continue to grow and evolve. We're number 3 in the National Hockey League. We're in the 40th largest U.S. market.
Wow.
But we're number 3 in the entire league in gate revenue. And that gets back to that focus, that attention. Obviously, we're providing great value through the entertainment product that we have, but we really have put a lot of emphasis on it. And then even going back to our time in Cleveland, Scott, you remember the isms, right?
Dan Gilbert isms,
yeah. Dan Gilbert.
Yep.
I learned a lot from Dan about how you take DNA, culture, things that are important as an organization, and package it up the right way. Again, you don't have to agree with everything that was important to Dan, but what he did an amazing job of was packaging it up, and you knew what was important to him. He didn't just post it on a wall. He lived it and breathed it through every email. And so what we tried to do was just tweak it a little bit. If you were to look at what we call our Knights Code, you're going to see some of the same concepts in terms of what they really mean, but what we tried to do was just make them very custom to the sport of hockey and the terminology of hockey. So play fast and finish your checks, right? A very hockey-oriented term. We want our team on the ice to do that, but as a business organization, we want to play fast and finish our checks, and that's really about having a sense of urgency with your customers and your clients, and crossing the T's and dotting the I's, so playing fast, finishing your checks. Another one we have is smile even if you've had all your teeth knocked out by a high stick. And that's about entertainment, right? It's about having fun. If you don't enjoy this business and you're not smiling and having a good time, there's no way you can appropriately represent that brand and sell that product and bring it to life in a really powerful way. Ignore the naysayers. It's very similar to ignore the noise. Going back.
Exactly.
And we had a lot of that early on.
We did.
And as you go through the ebbs and flows of a season, you're going to have some, whether it's through social media or other vehicles, you may have negative commentary, and you have to learn how to ignore those naysayers. Stay focused on what our vision is. Ultimately, we're trying to win a Stanley Cup, right? And we want to be the best business organization in the National Hockey League, and just keeping everybody focused and aligned on that. So we're really proud of our Knights Code.
Absolutely. Go more into ticket sales too. That's my bread and butter. What we've been talking a lot about. Scott's Takes. Knights, obviously one of the best ticketing distribution plans in the NHL. I study them across all 4 major league sports. What makes going to a Knights game special, and what makes it a tough ticket?
Well, first of all, I think the fact that the entertainment expectation that we talked about early on really was delivered on, and then I think even more so. And so right out of the gate, we got a lot of attention. People were like, wow, I wasn't necessarily an NHL fan, but that was quite an experience, right? So from the time you come into what we call Toshiba Plaza, which is our outdoor activation area, and we really tried to take that and turn it into kind of almost like a hockey village. And so you'll see what that looks like. So as you're flowing into the venue, and then taking every single moment and breaking it down. So we don't just open up the doors to what we call the Fortress or T-Mobile Arena. We make it an experience. So when our gates open at 5:45 for a 7 o'clock game, we've actually mounted a goal horn on the roof of the T-Mobile Arena. And we have our production team set up with a stage and video area out there. And then we bring some of our cast out onto the stage, and we do an entire countdown, and then we open up the doors, we blow the horn, and now we've opened the doors to the fortress, right? So even that moment is a moment. People flow into the venue. We actually have a parade of all of our cast that goes through New York, through Toshiba Plaza, through the park,
no kidding,
into the arena. But we don't stop once we get in the arena. They parade all the way through all the concourses.
Wow.
Again, a little bit of the Disney kind of approach.
Awesome.
Which is a lot of fun for our fans. So they start to. So now we're still 45 minutes away from anything even happening in the building.
Wow.
But these are things that are going on. Now you go and you get to your seats, and we took a very intentional approach and said, look, for us, nighttime begins when warm-ups begin.
Right.
And so our warm-ups for that 7 o'clock game start at 6:30. When we bring our players on the ice for warm-ups, it's not a casual experience at all. It's a combination of a rock concert, going to a day club, going to a nightclub.
Wow, so Vegas.
And there's just an intensity and an energy that's amazing. And so that's really through video and sound. And it's bumping. It is bumping. And then on the one end of the arena, we have what we call the wall of distraction. So when the visiting team is shooting around and they're working on their end of the ice, doing their thing, we've got 6 different, essentially Vegas showgirls that are standing on the glass, and they're waving to the players and dancing to the music.
Wow.
And we do that every single game. And if for one half of a moment a player loses their focus and just kind of goes, well, we're in Vegas, we've accomplished our goal. So that's part of our wall of distraction. So that's now we're not even to the intros yet. Then we get to the introductions. We've got this amazing video storytelling, good guy, bad guy, and a whole story that we've been telling and evolving over the years. And then so once we tell that story through video and ice projection, there's actually an on-ice performance that happens with the bad guy. And then we bring down the helmet and we bring the players onto the ice.
Wow.
And now we're getting ready to start the game, but we are not even there yet. Golden Pipes, our PA, our national anthem singer, he comes out, he performs this unbelievable rendition of the national anthem. And of course, when you get to one point in the song, night is the word.
Yep.
Every single fan in the whole crowd chants, Knights! And it's awesome and amazing. And then that gets done. Now we're ready to start some hockey, and there's just a whole energy and vibe throughout the entire game that we think is really, truly special. And of course, we've been pretty good at home on the ice as well. And that's part of it. How do we make for a great experience for our fans, but a terrific home ice advantage for our team? And we've done that.
Awesome. I can't wait to witness all this tomorrow afternoon. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Las Vegas is the mecca of the sports gambling capital. Now it's expanded across the country, and it's common for people to bet on games, bet on sports, and going into sponsorships.
Yeah.
How has you've been big on the corporate partnership side, the sponsorship side? How has that evolved into allowing gambling companies to be big sponsors for not just the Knights, but professional sports teams across the landscape?
Well, obviously the league, if they were going to go into a market, which they ultimately did back in 2016 with our franchise, they were going to have to evolve and change their guidelines. At that particular time, the league rules wouldn't even allow you to promote a gaming facility.
Right.
So we could promote MGM, or we could promote one of their hotels, but we couldn't promote gaming. And coming into a market where 5 of the 9 Fortune 1000 companies are gaming companies, the league had already kind of thought that through.
Sure.
And so we were able to really go to market with a strategy which really served us well. And really work with all of those different gaming partners. You've got gaming companies that are more focused on the tourists that come into Las Vegas.
Right.
You've got others that are more focused on the local community, 2.3 million residents. And we were able to create a lot of really great partnerships with companies like the D, with MGM, with Caesars, with Wynn, with the Cosmopolitan, and Stations Casino with Red Rock and a few others. So great relationships. We've been able to evolve those, but then, which was already in place in terms of mobile gaming here in Las Vegas, but as it started to explode across the country, you had a lot of companies that were already in the gaming business that started thinking about opportunity, right? And so you had William Hill, who was already doing very well in the mobile gaming space, and then you had companies like MGM who formed BetMGM and win with WinBet.
Right.
And then the D with Circa, their Circa sports brand. And
check that out yesterday. The Circa was amazing.
That's
That
a great
place.
That's it's one of my favorite places here.
Yeah.
Stations has STN, their mobile gaming, and so as they've looked to grow and evolve, now we were able to go back to them and add new sponsorship ideas that really activated not just their gaming floor and their hospitality assets, but their mobile gaming options, and really has been an incredible category. Obviously, the dollars from a sponsorship end are important, but more, what I really love about it is we're getting more what the NFL has, which is that engagement through gaming that's helping us grow the game and grow the sport in its awareness, and ultimately that's a good thing, big picture.
Absolutely, and really to end the podcast, what are your personal passions with the Knights, obviously out in the community, that you want to share with the viewers?
Well, I mean, community is a contact sport, just like hockey. And that's an important piece from day one, from our players to our business organization. I really believe that the community doesn't come to you, you have to go to it. And so we've really been proactive from day one across our foundations with the Vegas Golden Knights, going to the community with how we've promoted the game at the youth level. So again, we have this facility. We also have another facility in Henderson with 2 NHL sheets of ice, which also houses our American Hockey League.
Silver Knights.
The Silver Knights from a development end. And then we just finished our new arena, the Dollar Loan Center, where they'll play along with the indoor football team. But it's not just youth hockey, that's community development at the youth level. And we want kids playing all sports. And so we're going to do a similar thing with our football team. And like I said, it's just been amazing what's happened here. The growth of hockey, the growth of the brand, and hopefully over the next couple of days while you're in town, you really see a lot of that hard work that's now 5 years old now. So
we look forward to it.
It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Kerry, thank you so much for coming on.
Our pleasure,
Appreciate
Scott.
it.
Anytime.
Thanks for hosting us. And that concludes the podcast. And make sure you stay lean and clean. That's my hashtag, by the way.